It's time for a late night snack, and I've got nothing organised. After a quick check of the fridge, I see that I've got some pre-shredded cheese, some pickled jalapenos, and some home-fermented sauerkraut. I think we could bring all of that together in a toasty, cheesy quesadilla. Don't have any tortillas? That's fine, we'll make some. It'll be rustic. Does that sound like an odd combination of flavours and ingredients? Maybe. Stick around to find out. Let's get adventurous. For this scaled down recipe, we're going to need 3/4 cup of plain flour, half a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of oil, and 80 ml of water. This should be enough to make one large tortilla. We're simply mixing this together until it's all combined and there's no dry flour left. When it's fairly close to coming together, I'm going to tip it out and work it by hand for a bit. This is just a quick knead to bring it all together. I'm not trying to develop gluten like I would with a bread dough. This is simply to get everything evenly mixed. When everything's evenly mixed, I'm going to wrap this in cling film and then let it rest so what little gluten has developed has a chance to relax. While that's having a rest, let's put together the fillings. For cheese, I'm using a combination of shredded mozzarella and grated parmesan. Any combination of cheeses that you like will be just fine. I'm adding some pickled jalapenos for a little bit of heat and some acidity. These are really easy to make yourself. I'll put a link in the description for a quick pickle recipe that will work with pretty much any vegetable. Then I'm adding a good handful of sauerkraut for even more tart acidity and a whole lot of funky fermented flavour. No measurements here. I want the total amount of cheese to be roughly the same as the rest of the ingredients combined, and just enough in total to fill a large tortilla. Naturally fermented sauerkraut is also really easy to make at home. It's a delicious and highly nutritious condiment full of healthy probiotic bacteria. If you'd like to learn how to make this, stick around and I'll put a link to my sauerkraut recipe at the end of the video. I'm also adding a few grinds of freshly ground black pepper, just because I really like freshly ground black pepper. Give that a quick mix to make sure it's evenly combined and it's ready to go. Now I think the tortilla dough has had enough time to rest, so sprinkle some flour on a work surface to make sure the tortilla won't stick, and then we'll start rolling it out. If you have a tortilla press, that's great, but I don't, so I'm sticking to a rolling pin. Alternatively, you could put it between two pieces of parchment paper and then put that between two chopping boards and put as much pressure on it as possible to squish it into a circle, but personally I think it's easier just to roll it out with a rolling pin. If you're fussy, you can take the time to roll this into a perfect circle, but I'm hungry, so near enough's good enough for me. And it looks like I've made this a little bit too large for my frying pan. It would be better if it sat nice and flat in the bottom, but we'll make it work. I've thrown this into a dry pan with no oil over a medium heat to start to cook the first side. Take a peek every now and then, and once it's started to brown and blister on that side, flip it over and do the same for the second side. As soon as it's lightly browned on both sides, take it off the heat. It should be a little bit crisp in some of the browner spots, but still fairly pliable. Add the filling to one half of the tortilla and spread it out evenly. Fold the tortilla in half and return to the pan. Toast that over medium-low heat for a minute or two to get the tortilla nice and crispy and the cheese nice and melty. Then flip it over and do the same for the other side. As soon as everything's nice and crispy on the outside and nice and melty on the inside, we're ready to eat. I'm going to cut this in half so there's two manageable pieces. And look at that awesome cheese pool. Now it's time to see how this wacky combination of ingredients tastes. It's fantastic. It's savoury with a nice amount of acidity, a little bit salty, a little bit spicy, and the fermented sauerkraut adds a really nice complexity. It's an unusual but extremely delicious combination. If you'd like to learn how to make this awesome homemade sauerkraut, then click the video link on the left. Until next time, happy snacking. Ah! Ow! I should probably be using tongs. But where's the fun in that?